Hello everybody, welcome to H4G. My name is Tony.
I'm Dan.
And I'm John.
Today we're going to be rocking the rarest North American SEGA 32X game, Spider-Man Web of Fire. Why is this game so rare?
Well, as I understand it, this is a game that was announced after SEGA announced pulling the plug on the 32X console.
That's right.
Just a touch late to the party on that one, huh?
It came out in 1996.
Ooh.
So we're talking late. Like, gaming magazines didn't give it coverage, nobody cared, it just slipped under the radar.
It was well
So
after
as far
the party.
As games go, stillborn.
Yes.
You basically, yeah.
This game is absolutely your friend that shows up to a house party at 1:30 in the morning and wonders why no one's awake to party with them.
That's pretty much it. It's also more or less as disjointed as that friend as well, to be honest, once we get into it. But right now this game trends for between $200 and $300.
Oof.
When I first discovered it and wanted to get it back in 2009, it was trending for around $80.
So we're here to check it out for you folks today before it goes up even further.
Yeah, cheers. Hope you guys enjoy.
In a very strict sense, the story is that New York City has been captured by Hydra by lasers creating a web over it, and they want $1 billion or they won't turn off the web that probably cost more than $1 billion. Only Spider-Man, with the occasional greedy help of Daredevil, can save the world. I mean, New York. Just New York. Daredevil will only help you when you find random tokens to bribe him, because Daredevil's an asshole. And outside of New York, nobody appears to be helping at all. And Daredevil just annihilates him.
Alright, so let's take a minute to take a look at the graphics and general presentation of this game. You look at the background, and wow, for a 32X game, it's dazzling. There's always 1,000 things going on, they're brightly colored, it's very vivid. It's ADHD, the background. God help you if you can remember to even pay attention to your own character, which is probably for the best because it helps distract you from how sad and forgettable the foreground is. I mean, the Spider-Man himself is really kind of grainy and uninteresting, and the bad guys are indistinguishable. They're just kind of colored blobs. And some of the animations are pretty well done. They're fairly crisp, but what happens between them isn't, and it's all very forgettable, all set to that charming 80s elevator music sort of shtick. Which is really helped out by the fact that admittedly the sound effects are pretty good. The foreground is truly the forgettable part of the experience in this game. I mean, case in point, a screenshot of it was used for the cover art of the cartridge, and it's so cheesy and lame that we all thought the cartridge was a reproduction. They couldn't even put good cover art on the cartridge. It kind of shows that they spent all of their time and trouble on the background and left the rest of it just kind of to hang there.
Yeah, Spider-Man hang there.
Ah,
Get it?
ah, you see what we did there?
You did,
Good job.
Well, look at the amount of bubbles in the background.
Yeah.
I know this is like, who cares, right? But like, there's a lot moving in the background.
Yeah, and that's the thing is every background has a lot going on in it, and it's worthy of note because it's an exceptionally clever inclusion for the time. It's just, I wish they hadn't let it get in the way of the gameplay.
Yeah. I think more stuff like this would be interesting in the game because that has a kind of a 3D effect, right?
Yeah.
And you can jump on those and like they move you around. Like that is a good example of them using the background, foreground for the gameplay, but it just is very rare that you see something like that.
That's the problem is that there was a big promise attached to it. It just didn't get delivered on frequently.
Let's talk a little bit about the gameplay here. It's somewhat of a mixed bag. Now, as Spider-Man, you can do pretty much everything every other 16-bit era Spider-Man game can do. You can jump, you can wall climb, you can web sling, all of those cool things. And for the most part, it works pretty well. I also especially like how Spider-Man kind of has a multi-punch combination. He does like a jab, cross, uppercut, which is kind of like a boxer. Although unlike a boxer, you can get on the ground and just punch your enemies in the dick. Just over and over and over again, which I appreciate. The controls to control Spider-Man are a little bit loosey-goosey. They're not great. They're not so bad that it's like game-breaking, but they're just annoyingly loose, let's call them. A couple of other things regarding controlling Spider-Man that are an issue is that he gets very stuck on walls, and this can often kill you. So as you can see here, there's this electrical generator thing, and we just can't get off the damn thing, so we can either like go to the side and get stuck, or try to time it to go to the top and jump off, or get electrocuted. Like, you die a lot because you get stuck on walls and sides of things. The game just assumes you want to be there. Now, I've played other Spider-Man games from the era, and most of them have this problem. Not all of them, but most of them do, so I get it. It was a tough thing to design. But it still sucks when you die because you're stuck to something, and for the life of you can't get off of it. Once you kind of get used to the controls, you start noticing the level design, and the first level is pretty cool. You're swinging around New York, it's a lot of fun. But then you begin to notice that a lot of the levels have a lot of repetition. And while they're colorful and bright, like Dan said, they're really repetitive and really kind of uninspired. Like, they're either the same element and gimmick too long, or like an empty hallway where there's just enemies. It's kinda okay-ish. Not horrible, not great, kinda hits that middle ground. Plus, a lot of the enemies are like punch and web sponges. You just hit them and hit them and hit them and hit them. Eventually, you'll have to just give up and use Daredevil. But you shouldn't have to rely on that. But you do, though. But in combination with the controls and the fact that a lot of the enemies are just punch sponges, which makes it a little bit difficult, it makes the game kinda tough and not interesting enough that you really want to continue. But the saving grace of this is that they added a debug feature. So if you enter the debug code, of which we'll put in the description below, you get to see where you are in the level. You get to refill your lives, your health, your webbing, refill your daredevils, and you can also level select. So as you're going through these difficult levels, you're getting stuck on the wall, whatever, you can't figure out how to get off, you just press the button and either skip the level or get more health. And I don't even consider it cheating, because the developers kind of cheated you. And you definitely get cheated on the price if you pay $300 for this thing. So I think it's okay to cheat a little bit in this game. It makes it a better game overall, I feel. Overall, I think that it's not a bad Spider-Man game in terms of the gameplay compared to a lot of the other Spider-Man games of the era that I've played. You could do much worse. So that is the Amazing Spider-Man Web of Fire for the SEGA 32X. In a word, what do you think?
Underwhelming.
I'm gonna go for the positive here and say pretty.
Okay. I'm gonna say collectible. If
Accurate. All around.
Yeah. If you're looking for a great game to play, this probably isn't it. It's a decent game, but it's not a great game to play. But if you're a collector, I'd say maybe go for it.
Before it gets any more expensive.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, because retro games are getting out of control.
Oh my god. Either way, thank you very much for subscribing. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys next time.
Cheers.
Thank you again for watching. If you're craving more Web of Fire, we'll be releasing our recorded play session on December 6th, so stay tuned. And for now, we also have an awesome SEGA playlist you can check out for all of your blast processing needs. You can click on the card above or in the description below for more info.